Well, hey, beautiful people. Okay, Terrence got a little pep in his step. How you feeling, Terrence?
Man, I feel good. We're back. This is the highlight of my week. One of the highlights of my week.
Oh, it's one of the highlights of my week, too. I think it's one of those things where, wow, it's been 11 weeks for Rooted in Progress. Thank y'all for joining us and being able to see all of the interaction, all of the love that we've been getting with this podcast. This is literally just a labor of love, ain't it, Terrence?
It is. And for us to be here with you guys on this beautiful Thursday morning, man, where else would you rather be, Deanne? Where else would you rather be?
Right here in the Rooted in Progress Dream Center. Hello.
Not the beach?
No, I don't really
Not
like
the Caribbean.
the beach. I don't really do the beach. The sand gets in places it has no business being in. But nonetheless, we thank y'all for joining us today on this Thursday. Be sure to follow and like Rooted in Progress. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. And then, of course, make sure you are sharing and following us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. We have a really, really, really good episode for you all today. We are excited about this one. This woman who we have as our guest today, she is more than what the world has seen. She has such a beautiful spirit. She means and does so much for our community. She's a businesswoman. She's a friend. She's a mom. And she don't play, okay?
Not at all. No, especially when it comes down to business. She stands on business.
Exactly. Yes. Let's welcome local Tampa Bay Realtor, TV personality, star of Selling Tampa, Miss Juawana Colbert. Juawana, how you feeling today?
Good morning, Terrence. Good morning, Deanne. How are you? Thank you for having me. I'm excited about today.
Thank you.
Good. Yes, we are happy to have you. I think folks might think they know you, right?
We'll see.
Right, we'll see. Share a little about you, where you were born and raised, and how you even got into real estate in the first place.
Well, that can be a quick story. So I'm from Los Angeles. I'm really a Valley girl, right? Even though I live in Florida, but I've lived in a lot of places, North Carolina, Texas, Indiana. I kind of decided I was going to move around a little bit, and I got job opportunities. And I always had a love for real estate. My grandfather owned a lot of real estate in California. So I think it was really within me already. And I got licensed in Florida in 2018, I got licensed. And then I started doing real estate full time, probably around 2019, 2020, somewhere in there. And then here we are.
Wow.
Well, the one thing I want to just put out there for our audience that today's show topic is, as you can see on the screen there, is home ownerships and change in real estate.
Absolutely.
And we brought the real estate expert on, Juawana Colbert, as you just heard, to talk about your questions and your comments and your concerns about the real estate market here in the Tampa, St. Pete area, but also all over the country. Now, one thing we've noticed in the news lately, and I might be jumping off or jumping ahead, is that we heard just recently about the interest rates are slowly starting to decline, right? Now tell us where we are with that, Juawana.
Well, interest rates are essential when talking about real estate because that is the cost that someone is paying to borrow money. And most of the time, people cannot buy a piece of property without having a loan. Now, it's a benefit, and you're fortunate if you can pay cash, and that's an option, right? But most people have to get a loan in order to purchase property. And interest rate makes a big difference. Your interest rate can be one thing. Let's say if your interest rate was lower, you may be paying $1,500 for a mortgage and your taxes and insurance. But then if the interest rate is higher, you may pay $2,500 a month for that same property. So interest rate makes a difference. And when interest rate goes lower, that's when people are excited to borrow money. You have more people applying for loans. And so interest rate makes a difference.
Yeah, it makes all the difference. And right now, I just feel like the housing market in general, it seems like a struggle to try to purchase a home right now. We're seeing changes even all the way up to what it's like to have deals between a broker and a buyer. We saw those changes, and those took place in August. What's your biggest advice right now for someone who may have been renting for a while? They're looking to actually take that next step into home ownership. What's the message to them?
You said a mouthful. It's a lot. It's a lot. So let me take it piece by piece. There is a lot of information in the media related to the real estate industry, and you have to be able to pivot and change when things take place like that. So real estate agents should be educated and understand why the changes took place and what you need to do. For me personally, and what I teach our agents is that really not much change for us, because we were taught, and I was teaching agents to do that. Regardless, you should be communicating with your client about commissions. You should be explaining all of the services you provide. You should be sharing with them, yes, the seller's agent may pay the commission, but the seller's agent may not. Or the seller's agent may pay a certain commission, but your price is a little bit higher. So you want to always be upfront and open with your client about commissions, because that's how you're paid. And then in terms of really purchasing a home, if someone is renting, first I will say, everyone is not made to be a homeowner. I'll just be honest.
That's real.
Yes, some people shouldn't be homeowners, but there's a lot of people who should be homeowners, and you shouldn't be afraid of the process. So it's really aligning yourself with an educated realtor, someone who you can communicate with them and you understand their communication style, because it's a lot in the process, but it can be done and it can be easy, but it can also be difficult if your credit isn't right, if your income. I made a post the other day that I had a closing a couple weeks ago and everything went fine, but my client got a little bit frustrated because she said the bank was asking her for too much information about her paper trail. Where did she get money from? The bank wants to know who they're loaning money to and how you're getting the money. Is it a job? Is it child support? Is it alimony? What is it? Where is the money coming from? And so they have to be able to track that. So you want to make sure you have your taxes in order, where your money is coming from, that you have stable income, and you have the credit. And then you see where you are from there.
That credit is real. That credit check will put you right in line. Real quick.
A long line.
Real quick, fast, in a hurry. You mentioned your agents. You do so much in this community. I feel like half the episode we could go down and talk about the things that you do in this community and outside of even Tampa Bay. You are a part of Allure Realty, and they just partnered with LPT Realty. One, I want you to break down what LPT Realty is, but you're now the Chief Operation and Agent Officer. So first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
So talk about Allure and LPT and some of the work that you all are doing right now.
Absolutely. Okay. I'm going to put it in the easiest terms. So Allure was a brokerage before we partnered with LPT. So whenever you're a real estate agent, you work under a brokerage, and real estate agents can become a broker and open a brokerage, or they can just become a broker. But Allure, our broker was Sherelle, and we decided that we needed to really leverage some other tools, some other platforms. Really, we wanted to be able to expand in other areas as well. So after doing research, LPT, which stands for Listing Power Tools, is what LPT stands for. Now, LPT is the brokerage, and Allure is a team within that brokerage. So now technically we are Allure LPT. Wow. And really that just helped us be able to bring on more agents and be competitive in the market in terms of our tools, our marketing, our resources, our platforms, and being able to operate in other states that we might not have been able to do before without doing a lot of different things that you have to do to open a brokerage in other states and other cities. So that's what really helped us do. So now we are, our Allure LPT is the brand.
Congratulations. I mean, that's huge. I was there from the jump. I'm a day one. I met Juawana, for folks who don't know, with Sherelle before the launch of Selling Tampa, and when Allure Realty was kind of getting started and things like that. So you all have been doing some incredible work. We're going to get and talk about Selling Tampa a little later, but I want to get to a post that I actually just saw on your Instagram, and it was talking about how Allure and you and Sherelle, you all partnered with local governments to actually bring more affordable housing options to our area, because affordable housing, or the lack thereof, is a huge issue that's nationwide and particularly in our area. So one, I commend y'all for even taking on that effort. But talk about that project. That's huge.
It is, man. Congrats.
It is exciting. And it's still, again, it's all in that real estate realm. Mm-hmm. But like you said, development was a passion that we have kind of been thinking about for some years. We were going in after some federal opportunities. Mm-hmm. But then we thought one day, I was like, we really need to do something locally. We're here. How can we make a difference here? So we actually partnered with the city of Tampa. So they have an infill lot process where you can apply to obtain a piece of property that the city owns, as long as you can show that you are capable and able to develop it. And so capable and able basically just means that they're looking at your team. They're looking to make sure you have the financial capacity to actually do it. And then making sure you have your pro forma in place and that you have a plan. You have a contractor in your team. You're the developer. You have a plan. And so once they look at all of that, they grant you the land. And that's exactly what happened. And so we're building 6 affordable townhomes, right? Very close to Ybor. It's going to be in a prime location. And we're excited about that. Now, those units are truly affordable, which means we can't charge market rate. Like, let's say the appraisal value for the townhomes that we're going to build in the area is maybe $500,000. I'm just throwing a number out there. Mm-hmm. We can't sell them for more than $350,000 as of right now. Wow. So we have a cap. Mm-hmm. So more people can afford it. Some people aren't being displaced. They can live They can live where they want to live in the city and still be able to afford it. Because there's affordable housing and then there's workforce housing. Those are people like me and you, teachers, police officers, that really what they call workforce housing. Because as you know, Tampa is a very popular place, and the more demand it is, the higher the prices go up.
Absolutely.
And then that really prices people out of being able to purchase homes when they really should be living in their community. And so we're excited about that.
So Juawana, 2 questions for you. One, can you talk about the hurdles that you guys had to step over just to get to that point? And number 2, do you feel like you're somewhat shortchanged when, like you just gave an example of the houses in that area, because we know Ybor is a very popular area here in the Tampa area. You're, for instance, if that value or build is worth $500,000, do you feel like you might be shortchanged somehow, or is it fair? Talk about that for us. So,
well, those are good questions. One, there's always hurdles. Yeah. No matter what industry you're in, no matter what you're doing, you have to be able to pivot and overcome and do what you have to do to get to the end goal. So there's always challenges, and we had some in the process. I don't even want to go down that road, but we had challenges. But that's not the point. Is we overcame those challenges, and now we are in the process of building. So there's, like I said, there's always going to be challenges. It's just how committed you are and how are you going to get to the yes. That's always the question. How are you going to get to where you need to be? And in terms of your second question, if we're being shortchanged, I don't think so. I think that the city of Tampa, the mayor has an initiative to provide affordable housing for the community, because we have a deficit. We have a shortage of affordable housing. And when I say affordable housing, don't think historically like projects. Correct. Or, something that's not pleasing or something that's below standard. We're just talking about, a nice home that I would live in and people are living or want to live in at a price point that is affordable. And when I say affordable, it's basically an AMI, average median income. And so based on your household size and your income, you fall into a percentage category. And I don't want to bore you with that, but that's there's different categories in affordable housing. And so I think that, no, I don't think we're shortchanged at all. I think there's always different types of housing to accommodate your community. There's luxury housing, there's condos, there's single family homes, or tiny homes. There are, I always forget the mobile homes. It's whatever. You should have a variety of home options in a community because it's not one size that fits all.
That's for sure. What's the timeline on this project that you all have going on?
So the goal is to be completed for the 6 townhomes by the spring of 2025.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's coming up.
About it.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
No later. Of course, you have to always give yourself a little bit of leniency and timeline just in case different things go on, but definitely by summer of next year.
Yeah. Affordable housing, or like I said, the lack thereof, that is huge. I feel like this is heavy on my heart here. When we talk about disparities within real estate and within the home buying process, I was looking into some things, and I'm going to read this to you, which I'm sure you're well aware of. But for everyone listening right now, this took me aback. So the gap in home ownership rate between Black and white families in the U.S., it's bigger today than it was when it was legal to refuse to sell someone a home because of the color of their skin. I'm going to repeat that. The gap in the home ownership rate between Black and white families in the U.S. is bigger today than it was when it was legal to refuse to sell someone a home because of the color of their skin. So what we're seeing here, the difference is right now it's a 40% gap, when back then it was a 30% gap. Why do you think we're still in this rut? Why are we still seeing this? And why is it still a constant issue?
Ooh, we could do a whole segment on that. Probably go on for years. But okay, I think there is a number of reasons, right? Number one, I think I just gave you an example of me moving from different state to different state for job opportunities. We're transient. We're going wherever an opportunity is. We're not letting anything hold us back. And I think that prevents sometimes people from owning a home. And like I said, I don't think everyone should own a home at every stage in their life. So I think you have that, you have that going on. You have people who are moving because of job opportunity, because of love, because of life, because of family. So they're not going to purchase a home. So that's one reason, right? Okay. Then you have the lack of education. On someone, like I helped a client a couple years ago. She had no idea she could buy a home, but her credit was fine. She had income. She just had a misnomer of, I don't think I can buy a home. Wow. But she was fully capable of buying a home. So I think it's the confidence in the information in the home buying process. That's another issue. Then another issue I think is really down payment. And a lot of times people can afford a monthly payment, but they're not able to save up for the down payment. And that is where a lot of people fall short, because it's hard to save a big chunk of money, especially when you have things come up in your life and with your family, you just want to take a vacation. So you want to use that money, right? So I think there's a lot of challenges, but I think it's up to the person who wants to own the home to do the research. There's a lot of down payment assistance programs, particularly in the city of Tampa, particularly in St. Pete. There's things that you can look into that will help you with that down payment. I know someone who received about $60,000 in down payments.
Goodness. Wow.
There is, yeah. Now you have to be eligible. You have to make sure you're completing the documentation that you're eligible, but there is money out there for first-time home buyers. And so I think it's all of those things. It's not just one thing, Deanne, on why that number is lower.
Yeah. Wow. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
When you think about it, I was like, my goodness.
Well, and we know this real estate business is very complicated especially for those that are first-time home buyers or those that just don't understand the process. Let's talk about redlining.
Send them our way. We'll help them.
Right.
We'll help them.
Let's talk about redlining in real estate. And tell the people out there who don't quite understand or know what redlining is.
So I would say it's probably not as prevalent today. Not saying it may happen a little bit. Redlining is basically when minority people, we can say Black, we can say minority, but really it was Black people, it was Hispanic people, where they would basically only give home loans in certain areas because they wanted people to stay siloed in certain areas. Like, let's say I went into the bank and I applied for a loan to stay in South Tampa. They would deny me a loan in South Tampa, but give me one in East Tampa because that's where they wanted us, or they didn't want, or they declined the loan because of whatever. Maybe your name was not Williams. It was, I don't know. I don't even know what a Black name is. Just like I don't know what a Black job is. Like, I don't know, but it's a name.
That part right there.
I don't
Absolutely.
even know. But your name didn't align with what the bankers thought it should be. So they were going to decline the loan or even put a C on there for color. So they'll know, they'll flag that loan that you shouldn't receive a loan. So there's all these different things that prevented home ownership or prevented people living together in a community and making it more diverse. And so I don't really think it happens as much anymore.
It shouldn't be because it's illegal.
Yeah.
Fair
enough so. But you never know, though.
That's it.
I always feel that way. Heck, even just walking into a restaurant and sitting at the table, I feel like there's might be some type of code of when we sit down and because of the color of my skin, you know, where this table over here is getting faster service than here. So I do believe at some point it still happens today.
Yeah.
So. And appraisals. Didn't you guys, you heard about appraisals where certain people's the value of their homes wasn't as high for minority people as it was for, white people.
Yep.
It unfortunately, it is illegal, but it happens.
Believe it or not, I actually had a friend of mine who was selling her house, and she changed out all the pictures in her house.
Yeah.
And she had a friend come over that was a different race as the homeowner, and she ended up getting a higher appraisal.
Wow.
Based on that. Believe it or not. I mean, it's sad. It's today. It's 2024. We still deal with
there
it.
was a big case that came out of Jacksonville with that. I think, Juawana, you hit on like the mortgage rates, right?
Yes.
Are we still seeing higher denials for mortgage rates for African Americans and for Blacks, or are we starting to kind of see that level out a little bit?
Not I wish, that's not the right word. When you're denied a loan it could be for various reasons. It could be credit score, it could be debt to income ratio. What tends to happen in our community is that our debt to income ratio is high because we have a lot of debt. And banks look at debt to see if you are able to take on new debt. So if a bank is giving you a loan, they want to know what other loans you have out there. Where's your money being spent? So if you have a car note, if you have credit cards, if you have school loans, if you have, you're renting, I don't know, if you're renting furniture, whatever it is, that is your debt that you are responsible for paying every month. So on top of that, are you able to take on a new mortgage? And so that is sometimes where we get into trouble because we are able to obtain a loan, which is great, but now we have a lot of debt and we may not be able to take on new debt. And so a lot of times that is why a loan is declined too. So we really have to get our debt in check. We have to make sure that we're paying cash for things that we can. We have to make sure that we're not taking on new credit cards, new loans. Don't co-sign for anyone for anything when you're thinking about purchasing a home, because that debt will be counted. And that's one of the main reasons why a lot of times you are not able to obtain a loan because your debt.
Wow. So we see these disparities, right? We know they're real. If you're watching and don't believe it, it's okay. They're facts. It's facts, straight facts. But how do we get past this? When you kind of work at like a 30,000 foot level. I mean, you're on the ground doing the hard work every single day. But when you're able to kind of look from a 30,000 foot level, when you know these issues are prevalent, what are the small tips that you're giving to your clients and to your realtors to make those small changes to kind of chip away at these disparities that we're seeing and that's facing minorities in our community?
Number one, I think it's communication, it's education, it's opening your mouth. No one knows that you're thinking about or have an issue or have a discrepancy or may not know something. So you have to open your mouth. You have to talk to people. But you can't talk to everyone. See, I'm saying talk to because everyone doesn't have the right information. There's a lot of misinformation out there. So you want to make sure that you're getting information and exploring different things. Let's say you're looking at buying a home. Go to your housing counseling agency, call, a good realtor, call our office. We're more than happy to guide you. I'm thinking about it. What is it that I need to do? You really have to have the information in order to make an informed decision. So I also think it's up to realtors and the realtor associations, the GTARs, the NARs, to really share information about the home buying process and even the home selling process. So it takes all of us. We need to be putting good information out there, as well as whoever the client is need to be seeking out the information as well.
Yeah, it's definitely on both ends of the spectrum. Y'all got to do your homework too.
Work together.
I want to flip the script here and talk about real estate in general. Like for folks who may have aspirations of getting into real estate. How do you juggle that? And what advice do you have for people who might be actually looking to get into the real estate realm?
Okay, I'm gonna give y'all the good, bad, and the ugly.
Here we go.
The good is you're helping people. You can make money. I remember my first real estate check, but that wasn't even an easy one either because I worked my little butt off with that lady. She was a great lady, but she had to buy a home on a bus line. And there was a lot of nuances with that. I think my first real estate check was like $2,500. I was like, ooh, I made a check in $2,500, at one time. It's the fact that you're getting it once. Don't forget about taxes.
That part.
They're coming for you. You still got to pay taxes. But I think the good thing is that you're kind of doing your own thing. You're working for yourself and you are able to make an income from it. But again, you're still on your client's time whenever they're available. So don't think because you work for yourself, you're on your own time, because you still have to make yourself available to work for your client and to find a home and to do all of those things or sell the home, whatever side you're on. That's the good part. The bad part is it looks glamorous sometimes. It looks very glamorous. You see the closings, you see us popping champagne, you see us looking cute, showing the houses. But there's so many other things that go into the process that you have to know and you have to be prepared for. Yes, it could be a fun job, but it could be a very stressful career as well, especially when things do not go as planned. And it does happen. I've heard agents, they'll say they were close to closing their client. They went out and opened a new credit card, charged it up, buying furniture. You're not even closed on the home yet. How are you doing that? And that prevented them from closing because they didn't realize that creating a new form of debt was going to affect what the bank saw. And that can be very problematic. And then the other part is when you're in real estate, there are fees that go along in real estate. You're not just getting your license. There's renewal fees. There's educational fees. There's Supra, which is an electronic lockbox. You have to pay a monthly fee in order to be able to get clients into homes.
Oh, wow.
You have to pay, there's so many different things that you don't think about that you really just need to be educated when you're looking at getting your license or working for a particular brokerage. I'm not saying it to say it's not a great career choice, and you have to work hard at it. Your clients are not just going to find you. You have to make yourself exposed. You have to be educated. No one's going to do business with you if they don't know about you. So you have to constantly be working, be networking. So the point is, it's a great career, but you got to be prepared for it.
That's for sure. Yes. I feel like real estate is a freaking grind. You hear me? Yes. Because literally think about how many realtors, like if I did a search of how many realtors are across Tampa Bay, I could only imagine. The realtor that I used to buy my home was literally because my sister got so many recommendations from other people. I didn't do a Google search. I didn't do none of that. It's literally word of mouth and networking. So what you said is key. I feel like half the realtors that people go with is somebody who they know. Right. It's either someone they know or someone that like their friend or family used.
It's all referral based. Like most of my clients now, you get to a point where it is referral based, and that's a good place to be, right? But it takes time to get there. Other than that, it's a grind. You're out there, you better be good at it, or people are gonna, they're gonna talk about you.
But get you a realtor that can help you get in a program that gets you $60,000, i.e. Miss Juawana Colbert.
So Juawana, my question is also for our listeners out there who want to purchase a house, who are interested in purchasing, what's some first steps that you want to recommend to them in making that step going forward?
Yeah, I think it depends on the personality or the person. A lot of times I'll say, check your credit. Look at your own credit and see where you are. Or the first step could be, you can talk to a lender because you want to see what you qualify for. You don't want to go out looking at, $1 million homes when you're only qualified for 400. Don't look at the $1 million homes. That's not your price point. So you could get approved with a lender first, or you can talk with a real estate professional first, a realtor, to kind of talk about the steps, and then they can connect you with a lender based on your situation. Like sometimes there's different lenders for different situations. Every lender you will not be able to work with them getting a city's down payment assistance because they had to be vetted with the city in order to be on the list. So there's so many different nuances that you can start at any point, depending on what you feel is best for you. But I would say probably start with a real estate agent.
And then after that, you get in contact with Juawana Colbert at Juawana Colbert. Throw out your handle. Throw out your info there, Juawana, for the audience. So, and then Deanne and I could get commission on that, right?
Ooh,
we get a
referral fees.
Referral fees.
Now we done got all these new commission rules, and you trying to get in on Juana's commission.
But Terry's trying to make a way.
He is. Speaking of, we do have a question from a viewer here, Juawana. They want to know, and it actually has to do, funny enough, I think with these commission changes, do you still have to sign with the realtor to go through an open house with the new changes that we're seeing?
That's a good question. I watch all of these Facebook groups, and it's not funny, but it is. I'm like, did you guys read or did you get the information? But no. For an open house, you do not have to have someone sign a buyer broker agreement. Let's say I'm hosting an open house. Everyone that comes in, I do not have to sign this buyer broker agreement. The rules are for open house, you do not. Now, if someone called me or emailed me and say, hey, Juawana, I saw a house I want to go see. Yes, you have to have that buyer broker agreement signed. Or excuse me, buyer broker agreement is the relationship. There is another form that they can sign just for you to show them that house. It's two separate. One, you can be committed just for that house or that address, or one, you can be committed with the relationship of representing that buyer with any property that they want to see. But for open houses, that is not applicable.
Wow. I didn't even know. So there are two separate avenues that you have to actually kind of go through. Do you think these new changes, who's benefiting more from this? The buyer or the seller?
I think it's just an extra layer. I don't even think anyone is really
benefiting.
Or is it a benefit? Yeah, right.
Because honestly, the seller isn't really benefiting because really it's going to make it more difficult, because if the buyer doesn't have the money to pay that commission, then the seller is stuck still marketing the home. Like there's no incentive for someone to buy that home if the seller isn't offering the agent a commission. And if it's the responsibility of the buyer is already having to come up with the down payment, with the closing costs. And on top of that, now they have to pay a commission. So I don't think really anyone is winning. I just think it's an extra layer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough.
We have another question. Yeah. When or if is there a good time to buy a house?
I always say it's a good time to buy a house when you can buy a house,
right? Okay.
When you can buy, when your credit is in the right place, when you can, when you have steady income, when you have saved money for a down payment and closing costs. But in a lot of instances, you may be eligible that money that you've saved, you may not even need to use because you may be eligible for down payment assistance. So I think it's whenever you can buy.
Yeah, that is true. And when you're ready to have the bank all up and through your business, okay?
Because they're going to be in it. And don't get offended when they ask questions. Where did this money come from? That is their job. You are asking them for money. So why are you offended? They're asking you where the money comes from. So you can't have it both ways.
Right.
So I guess you can answer this question with your realtor hat on, but I want to know the real.
Mm-hmm.
Is it better to rent right now or buy?
I'm sorry, Deanne. I can't give you what you want here.
No way.
I can't say if it's better because it just depends on where you are in your life.
Yeah.
And renting is great. When my husband and I divorced, I rented for a little while, and I loved my community. The pool was glamorous. I could walk down and go right to the gym. I mean, it had its perks. We had a coffee machine in the community center. I was living the life. And then, but then I was like, wait a minute. I don't want to keep paying this money when I can own a home, when I can get a tax write-off, when I can, I'm investing in my future. So I did that for a little while, but then I said, it's time to buy. And I'm happy that I did. I got my own little coffee machine in my place. I got me a little gym membership.
There you go. You say, I'm going to make it work. I think it's just because when I am a huge advocate of home ownership, owning my own home, having other real estate properties. I am a big advocate of owning your own home because honestly, I feel like rent is the worst bill. Rent, you see nothing from it except for the fact that you were able to lay your head there in that space that night. You don't see anything from that money that you give those people every single month. And that's tough, right? Whereas when you can take that money and be investing it into something where you can see something in a return, maybe not that moment, right? But at least it's an investment. But I think when you have your everyday person, I think of my coworkers, more than half of my coworkers rent. And you have these people who are working so hard who could buy a home, but like you said, maybe the hurdle is the down payment. And it's hard having all of that money up front. But I love that you talked about the education. And I think it starts even like with platforms like this, being able to have experts where you're able to get fed real information and get the facts on how to actually take that step to better your life and to maybe even get into home ownership.
Yeah, because home ownership is not for the weak. I mean, going through this process, it's patient. You have to be patient. You have to be educated. You have to ask questions. And you can't be afraid to check out that credit score and work on getting that credit score up. And I think if you have that credit score lined up and like Deanne just mentioned about renting and basically you're throwing your money away for sure. But if you could stack that money somehow, some way, and we know in this economy that we live in, that's hard, very hard. But if you stick to the process and trust the process, man, the home ownership world is very, very great.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you can't call the maintenance guy, when your toilet is clogged up. You're not calling downstairs and somene's coming up.
When that dryer break.
Exactly. When that lawn need to be mowed, or homeowner association. That's a whole nother ball game.
It is. I don't even want to get CDDs. CDD.
Let's not even.
We're not, but those are things you have to be aware of. You can't go in blindly. You just can't.
Yeah, you can't. One thing that I can do, I want to segue here to Selling Tampa. I think quite a few people, I'm seeing some comments that say, Selling Tampa. They want to know, first of all, congratulations. When I met you all, when I was at your premiere, the love that was in the room, I think what you all did, y'all made Tampa proud. And what I can say, especially on this kind of platform, y'all made Black women proud. And I think one of the biggest things I remember talking to you all about it was it wasn't as much drama as people thought it was going to be, because you all made it clear that that's not what you all wanted to put out. So tell me what went into this Selling Tampa and actually getting to that space.
Oh my gosh. So we are super proud, and thank you for that. Thank you for your support. The premiere night is still a blur to me. I honestly don't even remember much from that night because it was so much love and support, and it was just a lot going on. But when we got the opportunity to do Selling Tampa, it wasn't anything we seeked out. Actually, we took a photo for International Women's Day, and it kind of went viral, is what happened. And it was all, minority women in real estate. And they thought from that moment that we all only did luxury. I guess we looked the part, but that wasn't reality. We work with people at a smaller price point, and then we work with people at a larger price point. It didn't matter to us, but I guess the notion was that we did only luxury real estate, and that is not the case. And so they reached out to us, and they interviewed us. At the time, we had other agents, just so everyone knew, we had other agents. We all actually worked at Allure. We were all real estate agents at the time. And they interviewed who they wanted to interview. And so then they offered us a contract in order to film Selling Tampa. Mind you, this is during COVID. So even after we signed the contract, it took probably 9 months to a year to actually start filming. It was a long time from when we signed the contract until when we actually started filming. And it was a great opportunity. I don't think any of us could have better prepared for it, or there's things you look back and you're like, oh, I wish I would have did this, or I wish we would have did that, but it is what it is. And I think we took advantage of the opportunity, and we were all very clear. Yes, we have disagreements. Some of us are more friends than others, but we all knew each other. We all worked together, and we said we were not going to make this a drama-filled series, even though we were a little bit kind of pushed to do that in some instances. But I think we were pretty firm with what we were going to do and what we were not going to do. And we're proud of it. We're all proud of it. And we just, and we liked the way we were showcased. It's okay to have disagreements. It's okay to not get along with someone that day, but or not like what that person said. That's okay. It's reality. It's life. We're not going to agree with everything another person says. So I think we showcased healthy disagreements, and for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. And y'all showcased Tampa.
You did, for sure.
All of the restaurants and the areas, and even just our real estate in general. And I honestly think y'all may have contributed to this housing market currently, but we're not going to go there.
Yeah. We're sorry. We're sorry about that.
So, Juawana, how has life been with business as well as your personal life with the launch of this TV series?
For me personally, I think I've had opportunities that I might not otherwise would have had without the show. I don't really think it's affected a little bit, I would say, in terms of our careers and our transactions. We actually did, I think, in some cases, get opportunities to work with people we probably wouldn't have been able to work with. But I think the most important thing is that we inspired Black women, that wanted to be in this space and saw that it can be done, and we're proud of that. So I think just with us wanting to grow the brokerage and bring on agents that really truly want to work and represent the brand and what we want to put out there is a blessing.
Yeah, it is. Now, we were left on cliffhanger, so this is kind of like a two-part question. What really happened after? And I was like, oh Lord, what really happened after? And why didn't we see a season 2?
So we were number one. What did you see? Let's see. How did cliffhanger? Well, Sherelle obviously had a baby. Yes, she did get engaged to Chad. They're not married yet, but they are engaged. Sherelle's between Miami and Tampa most of the time. And she does have an office in Miami. She has agents in we have agents in Miami, and we have them in other locations as well. So really, Allure is just growing. Some of the girls are no longer with Allure. Some of them are still with Allure. And we were all together in Miami probably a couple of months ago when we did the announcement for LPT. So we're all good.
Okay, good.
And I think the reason that we didn't get a season 2 was two things. One, they said it was a challenge with finding the type of housing that they wanted to showcase like the Selling Sunsets and the Selling OC. We're not California, we're Florida. Right. And we're not even Miami, we're Tampa. So yes, we have beautiful homes here. Yes, we have a beautiful quality of life. We have beautiful waters, but I think in their mind, they were possibly thinking of something else. And then also, I think maybe, even though we were number one for several weeks, they said they didn't see the numbers in the viewership that they wanted to see. I don't know what that number is. I can't tell.
Compared to what? Y'all were number one for so long. It was weeks.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what they told us. And so, you know, we're appreciative of what we did have and what we were able to bring to the screen. And we're thankful.
I know that's right. Terrence, you gonna ask her what you brought up in our meeting that I told you I didn't think was true, but you thought was true?
Why are you gonna put me on the spot like that?
Because
really?
This is really in progress.
I don't even remember what I asked. How about that?
Go ahead, Terrence.
No, you remember, Terrence.
Season 2.
No,
right?
That's not what you asked.
Well,
no.
Why don't you just ask the question since you remember?
He was like,
that.
I think they're filming something else, and I was like, filming what? So I said, let's put it out there. Is there something else being filmed?
Yes, is something in the works right now?
Not with all of us together. Right. There are different. So, for example, in Sophie and Colony filmed like a dating show. They were on a dating show on Netflix as well. Tanil and I did a podcast. So we do some things together. Then Sherelle is doing something else, actually filming something else. And then she just coming out with a podcast. And then Carla, I think, is doing something with like Latin realtors or Hispanic something she may be working on. I don't know all of the details, but like everyone is kind of just seeing what other opportunities that they may want to gravitate to. So stay tuned.
And what do you have brewing up next?
Coffee.
Coffee. The coffee that's in her house now.
Yeah.
I got coffee brewing. No, I would just say I look at different opportunities. That I had the opportunity to go on a dating show. I declined that because I didn't want to do it.
Man, because it's hard out here, Juawana.
It's not that hard. Yeah.
It's not. Oh, then we're gonna have to talk. I'll call. We were supposed to be doing lunch a while back anyway. So we'll circle back.
Okay. Okay.
So you were offered a dating show, but you didn't want to do that. And so what about for you, even if it's just professionally, some of the things and some of the projects, what's at the top of Juana's list right now?
I would say just speaking opportunities. I'm actually going to Detroit in a couple weeks to something called the Black Food and Wine Festival. I'm on a panel. I'm a moderator there, actually. So I'm also a owner of a wine and champagne bar in North Carolina. Wow, so that's the reason why I got that opportunity. But really just to share, I mean, it's not rocket science. I just like to share my experience, my opportunities, and hopefully inspire other people. So really to try to do more speaking engagements, maybe a book at some point. I have a lot to share, but we'll see. And then other than that, really growing the real estate team. I really want us to have a team of educated in terms of real estate, not technically a 4-year or master's degree, but educated agents who want to grow and want to continue to excel in the real estate industry. And then development. I want to do more than just affordable housing. I want to do mixed use. I want to do market rate. I think there's enough space specifically for minority women to be developers. And I want to capitalize on that and do more things.
Yeah, wow. Well, you are doing it. You are killing it. We love giving flowers here on Rooted in Progress. You are amazing. You are an incredible woman. You are a phenomenal real estate agent. What the heck kind of music was that? You're a phenomenal businesswoman. You are Black excellence. You are incredible. And we are so proud of you. And we thank you for joining us on Rooted in Progress.
Thank you, Joanna, so much.
And thank you for having me, and all the flowers you gave me right back at you, Deanne. And Terrence, you're an amazing man. And I appreciate you and taking the time to have me on the show.
Juawana, shout out your contact information.
Yes,
Anyone
please.
who needs to reach out to you, especially whether it's for education or even actually for your services, can you let the folks know how to get to you?
Absolutely. My Instagram and Facebook is my name, Juawana Colbert, Juawana Colbert. Also, my email address is juanac@gmail.com or info@juanacolbert.com, whatever is easier for you. And then, DM me, message me, call me. I don't care. I usually pick up. I don't care who it is, unless it says spam. I'll pick that up.
And when you guys do reach out to Juawana, let them know you heard the interview here on WFLA. Rooted in Progress.
Because Terrence wants his commission.
Deanne and Terrence and I myself can get the commission.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Juawana. Again, thanks for hanging out with us on Rooted in Progress. We will have her back once we get all the updates on what she has going on.
Yes.
Again, everybody who is listening in, make sure you follow us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on YouTube. We are here every Thursday. We were a little early today, but y'all hung with us and y'all still hanging with us. I love that. But typically we are here every Thursday, 11 a.m. You can join us live on WFLAnow.com or follow the WFLA Facebook page. We live stream through that. We appreciate y'all joining us again. Make sure you hit that like and that follow button. We love y'all. Stay rooted.
Stay rooted, folks. See you next week.